Welcome in, everybody.
Meow.
Welcome in, everybody. We are here for the out of this world catastrophic review of The Cat from Outer Space. We are back and better than ever, with a perfect review
Oh,
of The Cat from Outer Space. I got to get the puns out of the way.
is that
early.
3-4 puns in like the space of, I don't know, 30 seconds? That must be a record or something. Oh, goodness.
We are the cat's meow when it comes to Disney reviews, let me tell you. Well, welcome in, everybody. We are back with another Disney movie review, and if you haven't already noticed, we are reviewing this week. Dan, you picked it. Can't blame me.
Well, it wasn't my choice, was it?
No, it wasn't.
It was completely random. The Cat from Outer Space.
1978, if I'm
Yep.
not mistaken. I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah, 1978.
Yep, 1978, Cat from Outer Space. And again, for those who may be new in here, this is something Dan and I do every Sunday night. It is a Disney movie review. At the end of the previous week, we pull a movie out of the hat or out of the box, and that's the movie we have to watch during the next week to preview the following week. It's been tons of fun. We've had some blockbusters. We've had some...
Not so.
Yeah. And every once in a while, we'll have a third party with us as a special guest. If someone's really, really into that movie, we like to have those people on as guests with us as well. But before we get started, I want to say hello to my partner channel right over here, the one and only Disney Dan. What's up, buddy? Good to have you in as usual.
Oh, this is going to be so much fun. I mean, this out of all the ones we've done, probably except George of the Jungle, this is going to be one that we have plenty to talk about. This one was very interesting. So I'm very excited to talk about this movie, The Cat from Outer Space. And I think every person I've spoken to, when I said, "What are you doing this week?" I'm like, "I'm watching The Cat from Outer Space," and they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Is that an actual movie title?" And I'm like, "Yeah, 1978." And yeah.
Yeah, for sure. A couple things real fast, as usual. Dean over at The Live Place. Check him out, theliveplace.com. Family-friendly streams throughout the week. He is the TV guide of live streamers. Check him out. Partner channels, again, this guy right over here, Disney Dan, who goes live on Saturdays with Disney Fiasco. Usually Thursdays with Nuts About Disney. And then,
sometimes.
Of course, Food Fridays. And then last but not least, Sunday nights right here with me for Disney Movie Reviews. And our other partner channel is Steve's World. Steve goes live on Mondays with Just Another Monday Night. And, of course, normally, although it's been really hit and miss lately, more my fault than his, Saturday nights with Sports Night. We're going to try to come to a resolution with that so we can hopefully continue that. Saturdays are becoming more and more difficult for me, not Steve. It's more my fault. But Steve is a fantastic partner channel as well. I'm sure you guys all know him as part of the Disney crew as well. Say hi to everybody in the chat real fast, Dan, and then we're going to get started.
Alrighty.
Samantha Lowe is here. Yep, I'm Grumpy is in the house. And Yep, I'm Grumpy is actually in Disney as we speak. Have a great time. Jeff Abramson is here. Eric Lee is here. Disney Dan is here. Faith Hope in Disney Barb. Barb, if you're here, I got to show it to you.
Oh, that's nice.
I got it today.
Ooh,
there it is.
excellent.
Thank you.
There.
Barb sent me a PayPal. She said she wanted me to get it. Wasn't that nice?
Look at that.
It's my buddy. It's the genie. I love it. I got it. Thank you, Barb, very, very much. That was very generous of you. Of course, Barb is one of our members. Yep, I'm Grumpy is one of our members. Thank you all to all our members for sure. Let's see who else is here. James Ryan's in the house. James, another one of our members, is here. Alex, the filmmaker. Eric Lee. I don't know if I said hi to Eric. I'm going to say it again. Wendy Luhu is here. We just met Wendy. We went on Rachel's stream, Melissa and I, for like 5 minutes and got to meet Wendy. That was awesome. Wendy, of course, is one of our members as well. George Priestley is here. I think we're up to date, Dan. Hold on. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Joshua Thompson is here. Joshua, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Rob Wieska. Rob's been sharing us out a lot lately. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that, pal. Kate Atwood's in the house. What's up, Kate? Good to see you. And Barefoot RV Life is here. Surfer Girl 326 is here as well. And I think we're up to date.
You see Rob Fuzz?
No, I didn't. Where's Rob?
You missed Rob Buzz.
Where? Simba 2. Oh, I did. There's Rob. Oh, there's Rob. I'm sorry, Rob. Rob's in the house. What's up, Rob? Good to see you. And Simba 2. Man, it must have jumped. My apologies, everybody.
I think I'm echoing a little bit.
Huh? Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna do something now.
Barefoot RV Life, welcome into the stream. Good to see you too.
Yes. I'm gonna put on my earphones that way you don't echo.
Wendy said, I meant to watch it, but I didn't. I said, well, you're a lucky one. So
What'd she say?
She said, I was meant to watch it, but I didn't. And I said, well, you're very lucky.
We'll get into it. We'll talk about the review. Well, let's get into the movie a little bit. So first and foremost, let's just kind of preface the movie. 1978. It is a Disney movie for sure. And, back in those times, Disney did these types of interesting type of films, whether it's The Cat from Outer Space, Blackbeard's Ghost, Escape the Witch Mountain, all kinds of different, really kind of Castaway Cowboy, you name it. Those kind of off-the-wall, freaky, weird kind of movies that were a little bit more The Computer That Wore Sneakers, or whatever that was.
Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, yeah.
That's the one, yeah. So we have some fun ones coming up for sure. But this was kind of status quo for Disney back in those days.
Yeah.
And let me just say this about the cast. Over here in America, I'll say a lot of these names, and people are going to know who this is. You've got Sandy Duncan, who's in it. You've got Roddy McDowall, who's in it. You've got Ken Berry, who's in it. You've got Harry Morgan from MASH. You've got McLean Stevenson, who also is from MASH in this movie. There are some stars from the 70s in this movie, for what it's worth. Some really good actors in this movie. That being said, we're going to get into this movie. So basically, Dan, I'll let you kind of start it because you're really good at this, and I want you to kind of bring it up. Let me just say, George Priestley, welcome in. Rod Priester, welcome in as well. Thank you all for being here. Let's kind of start at the very beginning of this movie because the title really is what this movie's about. We start with this at this farm, like we always do with outer space movies, this secluded farm where this spaceship lands in this farm. And out of the spaceship comes a cat. I think you hear Melissa in the other room laughing.
Oh my goodness. This is the most 70s movie I think I've seen in such a long time. It is cheesy.
Good thing it was made in the 70s.
I know. Could you imagine if it was made today? Oh goodness me. But yeah, like you just see this space. Okay, so this spaceship, right, crash lands on Earth, yet it had the most perfect crash landing in the world, where it looked like there was no damage. It, stood on all four legs. It looked like a big metal beetle. That's what it looked like. This big metal box.
Which one? John, George,
Ringo,
Paul, Ringo. Which beetle?
Oh gosh, this is getting off the rails already. And out comes this. The tail end of the ship opens, and you hear this ominous, like sci-fi music, while this cat just walks off the ship with this bright, like I don't know, Tiffany's style neck collar. And then you have this farmer. The typical, like, this is the most stereotypical thing, like a house in the middle of nowhere, and you're just like, it reminds me of that scene in Back to the, is it Back to the Future?
It is Back to the Future.
Yeah,
it's the first one.
From Back to the Future, where it's like, the guy gets his gun, and he comes out, and he's just like, he goes and aims, and like sees this crashed, very well crashed spaceship. It's like, actually, you know what? I'm gonna run away and call the army, because who has the number for the army? I mean, it's very
911.
Called 911. Yes, a UFO has landed in my backyard. And what I really loved about this first, well, the only good thing I liked was the dog was so scared it ran back inside.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. It's true. Yep. But so basically, what happens is exactly what Dan says. He crash lands on planet Earth, and I guess he's got, if I'm not mistaken, yes,
Crash.
48 hours to find something that he needs for the ship to make it work again, so he could get back to the mothership before they actually go off. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's something like
if
that.
I'm understanding the plot.
Yeah, he has to get back to the mothership. What I find really weird about the cat, that his actual name was like Zunar J48 something, right?
Right.
How does the cat know of the English alphabet?
I don't know. If aliens are smarter than us, okay? Most aliens... Look, you ever notice that aliens come to our planet? We never usually go to their planet unless it's lost in space. So normally, or it's in the major future, so they obviously have higher technology and much better IQ. So that makes sense why they would know our language. They're just smarter than us. I love Rob Wieska just says, this just in, Disney announced an IP overlay for the cat from outer space for Spaceship Earth. He also said budget cuts, and the Apple Dumpling Gang is an overlay for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. I actually don't mind that one.
At least with the Cat of Outer Space overlay of Spaceship Earth, they'll get the Phoenician thing right. So,
look, if they want to put the Apple Dumpling Gang at Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, I'm all for it. I have no problem with that. I'm good with that too. Because when we get to those movies, I got a lot to say about those movies.
Yeah.
And it's going to be positive. I can tell you that right now for me.
So the cat has knows the English alphabet and the English language, and hitches a ride with the army. And let me tell you, so the sergeant. Hold on. So there's General. What's his name? General Stilton, because it's Stilton cheese. General Stilton. And then he had
General Stilton.
It had his was it his
It's General Colonel Captain Sergeant.
I loved that running joke. The running joke throughout the film where someone tells an order, they pass it through the line. It's like yes, General, yes, Lieutenant, yes,
General,
Sergeant.
Colonel, Captain,
Sergeant. The whole movie.
It's so funny. In other words, it's passing the buck on to the next person down the chain. But that is, well, at least in the United States military, that's how it works. It goes down the chain of command, and the big guy passes on to the next person. He passes on and on down the line.
But the first time they did that joke, I was like, okay. But the more they did it throughout the movie, the more funnier it got, because it just came out of nowhere. And they kept running with that joke, and I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was funny. So ultimately what happens is they get called in because, they find this ship and the military's there, and they're all looking at the ship and trying to get answers to it and things of that nature. And that's when we kind of meet Ken Berry. He gets called in. Well, actually, he gets called in later. We meet some of the other characters, and they're not really sure how to answer what the general wants. So this is where we first meet Sandy Duncan, if I'm not mistaken. She comes in, and the general is asking her if she has any answers to these questions, and she says no, but I think I might know somebody who does.
Because they have this object which they said was a lot like a
which is what he needs for his ship.
And it's called they said it was similar to, not an anchovy. It was
it's a flux capacitor.
It's a flux capacitor. That's what it is. And they're trying to decipher what this item is. It looks like an artichoke. Wasn't it an artichoke? They said it looked like.
Yeah, artichoke. There you go.
They said it's like an artichoke thing. And it's like a levitating artichoke. And you're probably, like, if you've never seen this movie, you're probably like, what are you talking about? But yeah, they had in the middle of this table this levitating silver crystallized artichoke, which is for the spaceship the cat needed. And all the scientists and the general were like trying to figure out what this thing is, because obviously it's alien, and that's where we meet a load of these characters, and we meet one of the characters who is the secret agent of the villain of the movie called Olympus or something. And you meet...
Well, that's Roddy McDowall's character.
That's Roddy McDowall's character.
Right.
And then you meet...
And Roddy McDowall, Roddy McDowall has, if you've seen a couple other films, he always plays this type of character. He's kind of the antagonist, but not the main antagonist. He's kind of the gopher boy for the antagonist.
He's the gopher boy for the secret layer villain with his fictional character on his arm. That's the kind of villain.
Kind of. Captain Akron, welcome in. Meg's here. Ricky's magic. What's up, Meg?
Meg goes Ryan McDowell, who knew he was in the Cat movie.
No, Roddy McDowall, not Ryan. Who else? Somebody else. Oh, Donna Anderson Foley, welcome in. So here's the thing. So then we finally do get to meet Ken Berry, and this is where Ken Berry kind of can't answer the questions for the general either. So he goes back to his normal. It looks like
he's like it should be served with like mayonnaise or something.
Yes, exactly. But so he goes back to his apartment. One Stop Mouse, welcome in. Bob is here. Hey, Bob, good to see you. He goes back to his apartment, and this is when he meets the cat.
Yeah.
Right? He meets the cat, and the cat is, because at first he doesn't believe it, and who would? He's like, wait a minute, that's not the cat talking. It can't be. And then he finally realizes it is the cat. And this is where they did one thing right in this movie, Dan, that was very smart. They addressed the cat not talking with his lips, which I think was smart, because he says to the cat, how come I can hear you, but you're not moving your mouth? And I thought that was actually smart that they played that into this. And he said, I'm doing it telepathically through the necklace or the collar.
Tiffany collar, yeah.
Yeah, the Tiffany type collar. So I did like that. I thought that was smart that they made sure. And I think Barb, Faith, Hope, and Disney said it earlier. Look, this movie was made so the kids would understand it. It's Disney, for crying out loud. I get it. I get it. No, and I get it. All seriousness, I totally get that. And it does make sense. But I do like that they did address the fact that, this cat isn't moving his mouth, but yet we're hearing, why are we hearing this? It doesn't make any sense. They addressed that. So that part I did like. And then right?
Meg says it sounds like this movie had its hurdles, dare I say, its meowtons. Sorry for interrupting with that. I had to say that.
That's okay. Oh my gosh, that was funny.
Jeez.
But it was. And then, of course, he starts to gain. He's got to prove to him what's going on. He's got to show him that, I'm talking through this collar and stuff like that. If I'm not correct, right, Dan?
Yeah. So he kind of gets an idea. I think he's still in a bit of shock of how is this cat talking to me and all that, and he starts to show all the different tricks of what this collar can do. And my favorite was when the cat was showing him how he can levitate in the middle of the air, and he starts like hovering, and then his flatmate walks in and goes, "Hey, dude, why are you hovering?"
Well, let me tell you, you can tell this is a '70s film because I looked at Melissa and I go, "Look, you can see the wires that are holding him up."
Yeah,
you could if you look close enough, you could see the wires holding him up. It was funny that they're actually very seeable at that time.
Yeah,
but
Frank was was levitating in midair after holding on to the cat, like he was holding on to Jake the cat like there was no tomorrow, and then his flatmate, which his name is Link, walks in trying to watch the game. It was like a basketball game or a football game.
Yeah, and that's like McLean Stevenson. For those who know who that is, McLean Stevenson was Link.
Yeah.
His whole point in this movie is for comedy effect. Seriously. He has really no other part.
Trying comedy effect, because let's be honest, he wasn't
right. Exactly. No, not at all. But that is right. MASH, exactly. Bob, that's right. Harry Morgan's in this too. I mean, so you have two alumni from MASH in this, And it's 1978, so MASH is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, MASH is still going on television at this time.
Right.
I don't think it's off the air yet. But anyway, so what we find out about the cat is he needs basically a bar of gold, what amounts to $100,000 in gold, if I'm not mistaken. Right, Dan? 1 bar of gold, or a certain amount of ounces of gold that he needs in his ship to be able to fix it to go.
Yeah, so
they equated it to $100,000, correct?
Well, so they had to I think before that, didn't they have to get back to the ship first to find out they needed the gold?
Right.
And with Frank and Liz was one of the scientists from that meeting that we were talking about. Frank wants to take her out for dinner, and then he's putting it off to go do things like the typical, romance comedy thing that you'd see. And so Frank and the cat, Jake, don't they go to the army base where they're holding the ship. And that's where we see one of Jake's many powers of, I call it OP powers, overpowered powers, where he could just look at an enemy and make them freeze for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that was right, because they get caught, because they're actually going in there to see the ship, and they actually do get caught. So what does he do?
You see this guy with a dog, and he freezes him for 20 minutes. and it's like he was like, yeah, he'll be fine in 20 minutes. And they get inside the hangar, and in the meantime, the what's his name? The guy who's trying to prove to Olympus, the henchman, what's his name?
Roddy McDowell. Yeah, Roddy McDowell's character. Hold on, I'll tell you. His name is Mr. Starwood.
Mr. Starwood. He was climbing up the hangar, and he actually can see.
He sees everything.
Yeah, he sees.
He saw it all. Yep.
He sees Frank flying around the ship, putting something on the top of the ship, and he goes inside, and Frank sees Jake at the controls. He's like, these are the controls. Is this the engine? This is the. And they realize that they need a certain amount of gold for him to leave. To leave Earth and go back to the mothership. And then obviously stuff goes down. They actually escape, and they get followed by that henchman back to the apartment.
And that's so then he's in there, and then finally, when they realize, okay, this is what we need a bar of gold. And basically, to get that bar of gold, they're going to need about $120,000, $150,000, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have that kind of money. Well, guess who walks in the door? None other than Link, who is the consummate gambler. He loves to gamble. And they realize that Jake, the cat, can manipulate games, which is kind of not the best thing in the world to be teaching kids.
The basketball game.
Yes, they can cheat. So, now they need to get Link on board with them. So they now have to try to convince him that the cat can talk and the cat's from outer space. And then they get into this whole slapstick thing, which really was kind of lowbrow. It wasn't done very well. With the soda and the paper towels. Oh my God.
Can we talk about the basketball game first?
That's so funny.
They're all sitting watching this basketball game, and it was like the last minute. That typical thing. It was like the last seconds of the game,
right?
Wanting people to win, and Link wants that his team to win, and the player on the TV shoots the ball towards the hoop. And what we see is the cat with his Tiffany collar light up, doing his special powers, and he can manipulate the ball from wherever they're playing, miles and miles and miles away. And you just see a close-up of the camera, a close-up on this hoop with this ball going around the rim, underneath the rim, and on the top, and complete garbage. And then it goes, and then falls straight into the hoop. No off the backboard, no. Ridiculous. It was just ridiculous. And if you want to talk about 70s cheesy, awful editing, that's where it's at right there. And this whole like ball thing going around the hoop, it was at least 30 seconds. It was just ridiculous.
That being said, again, I'm going to take into account, and I'm going to try to do this as often as I can with these movies. I'm going to take into account that this is a Disney film that I think is made for kids. Okay, I don't think it's made for the intellectual high, not that we're intellectually these incredibly high intellectual people, but I'm going to take it for what it's worth. I understand this movie was made for kids. And as a kid, I would see that to be funny. Because it's so off the wall slapstick and would never happen like that, it's funny. Yeah. So for that, you're right. As an adult, it's a little too over the top for me. I don't find it to be funny. But as a child, I could see myself laughing hysterically at that. Melissa says, speak for yourself, Paul.
You can still hear her laughing from here.
Exactly. So that being said, it was funny in that respect. But then, again, that's part of the process of them trying to get Link to understand that, to prove to him that he can do this. And then, of course, the thing with the soda, when he gets the soda spurted in his face. And then the thing with the paper towels. And then I think he actually levitates him, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Him. Well, he levitates, but he was like sitting down, and then he's levitating while in a sitting position, and then he sits on the sofa in like sort of gasp.
Right, exactly. What's up, Noah?
It's just bizarre. Like
So finally, Link is on board, and this whole time, Sandy Duncan, who actually back then was a fairly big star, is really not got a big part in this movie at all. Right. At all. She's kind of the semi-love interest, female interest in this film, but she should have had a bigger part, I really feel, in my opinion.
Yeah, she didn't really have a
big... I don't like that. I think Link, the character Link, could have been thrown out of this, and what he's doing could have been her. But change. She doesn't have to be.
She was the damsel in distress in this film. And you're right. You're totally right. Link's character should have been her.
Right. Not necessarily the drinker and the smoker and the gambler and
like the comedic effect.
Yes. Or she could have at least been his accomplice in this whole thing. Yeah. Which she wasn't. So, but she is there, and then finally they get Link on board, and they're like, "Look, this is what we need. We need to get this kind of money because we need this much gold to get him back to his ship so he can go home." And Link's like, "Okay, fine, we're on board. How are we going to do this?" And they're like, "We're going to gamble it."
Can I just say, this is like I don't know if we missed this part, but this was like the biggest ripoff of E.T. I think I've ever seen. Because there was a scene, I think that when they were leaving the bunker, when the cat was on the bike and they like levitated off.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's how he got away.
And I was like singing, da, 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 da. And then here's like, we've got to get the cat home, like cat, phone home. And then.
But E.T. wasn't out yet. This movie was made in 1978. E.T. wasn't made till the 80s.
We know where Spielberg got his film from.
There you go. Yeah, this was before E.T.
While all this was going down in the apartment, the henchman, Mr. Spiegel, whatever his name was filming upside. He was like filming upside down. So you pretty much had a camera, right? He was like filming like this.
Well, what's funny is when he goes to the real henchman, the big boss, to show him all this. You see them all going like this. Because the whole thing's filmed upside down.
I didn't mean it to be upside down, but that's the way I had to do it.
It's hilarious. Hey, Ron and Meredith at the Philly crew are here, Doofily crew. Welcome in, guys. Good to see you. Noah's here. Richard's here. Good to see everybody. So let's get to the crux of the movie here, because we're coming up on 6:30, and a few other things I want to talk about too. So look, they have to win this money. They have to. That's the only way they can come up with it. I mean, they don't make any money, so they do. They place a bet, and it's a 3-game bet. It's a parlay. It's really what it is. It's a 3-game parlay. First 2 in the books. They got it. But Sandy Duncan the whole time. See, when he would when he would delay his date with Sandy Duncan, he would say, "Oh, the cat's sick. Cat's not feeling well. The cat's sick." And the cat would, play off like he was sick. Well, on the third time, Sandy went and got the veterinarian who lived downstairs, and he comes upstairs. Now, remember, 2 of the 3 games they got to win. They've won 2. The third one's in the balance.
Yeah.
Well, the veterinarian comes up in the middle of that third game, and he tranquilizes the cat and knocks him out. So they don't have him awake for the third game to win the money.
Manipulates, the game to win the money. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they need that third game because he needs to manipulate that game. Well, he doesn't wake up in time, and they lose.
No. Yeah.
They lose the game. They lost. So then then they go downstairs. They go to the bookie, who, by the way, this bookie is in this small part.
Bookie.
They go back to the bookie.
With the mafia.
Right. Exactly. And then they go back to the bookie, and they're thinking of ways they can try to win the money back. So Ken Berry, the main star in the movie, he takes the collar and says, "Look, I can use it. I've done it." Because when he was flying up and about, he actually was doing it himself. He goes, "I can do it. I can manipulate it." And Dan, I'll let you kind of talk about that a little bit, about the pool. Because they play pool.
So Ryan Myers says, "Walt, are you sure this is a real movie? It sounds different."
Who says this?
Soraya Myers.
Oh, Saria says it. Hey, Saria. It's.
Oh, goodness me.
It's different for sure.
So they get
Saria.
They get to the bookies, and they want to place bets, and they're trying to go through like all the other sports that are happening, that they can place bets on. They're like, no, baseball's on a Tuesday, and there's no horse racing. So they decide to play one of the best pool players in the bar to place a bet so they can win some money. So they had to give it a go, and they're trying to get the best sort of bet that they can get, whether it's 5-1, 10-1, 20-1. They get a 20-1, but that's for Liz to take on the pro, and Liz has never played pool before. So they play one round, and she misses the first break, and
she loses.
She loses, yeah. She pretty much loses straight away,
right?
And
she lost.
They get desperate. They're like, right, we need to win this money. So they were like trying to see how far of a bet they could do. And the bookie was like, 50-1, 100-1, 200-1. Right. And
so then finally they said, what if I'll blindfold her? She gets one break.
No, they get the break. They got the break.
Right.
And he gets 20 balls. He gets 20 balls. He can have the break, and she's blindfolded.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, just don't forget that Jake, the cat, is still unconscious at this point. So she's getting ready. So they sort of get ready. They get all sorted, and then Jake comes around, and in the nick of time, they put the Tiffany collar back on him, and they start messing around with this pro pool player, like moving the white pool ball, and he does the break, and it goes all over the place. Like it makes no sense. All the balls go everywhere. There's no sort of sense of
and then
gravity.
They come back.
Like Newton's, every action is an equal and opposite reaction. That sort of formula.
Right.
That doesn't exist in this universe.
No.
They all go everywhere, and then they all come back together in that triangle, ready for, Liz. And then Liz does the break, and all the pool balls go all in the holes, all in one shot, which is pretty much impossible. And she wins. And she wins like $150,000 or whatever it was. And the mafia guy is like really happy, and it's like, how do you feel if you don't do this? And it was great. So they win this prize money, and they now they go around to their local supermarket and buy some gold.
Yes, exactly. Who can't go down to the local store and buy a bar of gold? Brandy Baez, welcome in. Good to see you as well, dear. Another one of our members. Thank you for being here. But ultimately, they do. They get the gold, and the cat has to, through his brain waves of the necklace or whatever, melt it down into this small little piece. How he does that, I'll never know. But he does. He melts it down. And they got finally what they needed.
But
go ahead. I'll let you say it.
well, the army have tracked them down.
Yes, they
And
have.
General Stilton Cheese has located
Colonel,
General
Captain,
Sergeant.
Sergeant.
They were going through the system. They found obviously remnants of what was on the ship, and they found that the pilot was a cat. So they kind of, figured out that the cat was there and humans were there. So they figured out that it was Frank and the cat that were inside the ship. So they tracked him to his location, and as soon as they, melted that gold down to whatever they needed, they busted through the door, and they're like, freeze, and everyone's like, they were starting reading off whatever you say will be, said in court and whatever. And then, Jake with his OP overpowered powers, he freezes the army men. And what does every comedic thing do when you've got an army uniform? They take the army uniform, and you see the general in his underwear and a Hollywood t-shirt, and Frank gets in the uniform with Jake and heads off to the army base. But Mr. Schmiegel, whatever his name is,
the bad guy.
Guy with Olympus, who's the main villain.
Yeah.
I've also
Mr. Stallwood comes with Mr. Olympus
and they take Link and Liz hostage. Yes. So things are starting to put into place.
Right. And you got to remember, so at this point, Frank has gone off with this Jake by himself. It's just him and the cat, and they do infiltrate. They make them think he's the general, and they get in. And he's getting inside the spaceship, and he's ready to leave. He's ready to take off, and that's when Link pulls up and says, "Hey, Frank, I got to let you know, such and such, this guy took Liz. They're holding her hostage." And that's when Frank's like, "All right, Jake, you go. Good luck. I hope everything works out for you." And he's like, "Well, but it's a good thing." He's like, "Look, this is your only chance to go. We'll take care of this. You go. Good luck to you." And you see the ship go off, and you're thinking, "Oh, Jake is gone," but he actually doesn't go. The ship goes by itself, I guess, on autopilot.
Yeah.
And Jake stays behind, and now the three of them got to go save Liz.
And then the army have come back to life. Well, not come back to life. They've been unfrozen after 20 minutes. So they're after, Frank and everybody. And then we end at this car chase style helicopter ridiculous. Oh my God, this is it is just ridiculous.
It's so funny. It's great because when you look at some of the scenes, the real scenes when they're some of the stunt work in this part, I'm actually really impressed with for 1978, because some of it they're really in the air doing these stunts, and I thought that. I mean, obviously it's not Ken Berry, and it's not really Sandy Duncan doing it in some of them, in the wide angle scenes. But whoever does that stunt work did a really good job. I'll give them credit for that. But the couple of the scenes when they're there, the cats aren't real. You can tell they're mannequins or whatever. They're like stiff as a board. It's so funny.
They have the stuffed cats. I will tell you what. They had a great taxidermist ready for this movie.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was really, really funny. Thank you, by the way, for that, Richard. I appreciate you. But ultimately, so Ken and the cat, and again, they're in this beat up, no way it would ever work airplane, because the bad guy took Sandy Duncan hostage, and they're gonna kill her if they don't get what they want.
Yeah. Well,
they leave when they see the army and the police coming in their helicopter, and Jake and Frank have to chase after them. And that's what this is. This is an airplane chase at this point. So finally, something happens to the helicopter. They do something, and the helicopter gets, how do I want to word this? It gets damaged, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's going to go down. So they have three, if I'm not mistaken, they have 3 parachutes in this helicopter. Well, there's 5 people. So Mr. Olympus, the big bad, and 2 of his cronies take the only 3 parachutes, while Roddy McDowell jumps on with Mr. Olympus as he's jumping out the door. So there's 4 people gone. Well, the only one left in the helicopter is Sandy Duncan's character, Liz. And then that's when Frank has to go up with the cat and save her. I'll let you explain.
And bearing in mind, right?
Take care, George. George Priestley's heading out. Take care, buddy.
Bearing in mind that Frank and Jake, the cat, are in this decrepit, half-propellered plane.
Right. Now, he's, of course, manipulating it from his power. Let's put that out there. He's using his power, just like he's done on everything else.
There was no way this plane could fly without.
Absolutely not. Right.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
So they end up...
But they do save her. I mean, they ultimately do.
They fly up, Frank is able to save Liz, and the helicopter ends up crashing, and the henchmen and Olympus are on this tree, dangling like a Looney Tunes episode, like they're hanging from a tree. It's impossible for them to get down, and it feels like one of them Scooby-Doo characters, like Dratz, like foiled again, like I don't know, like those typical.
And it would have worked if it wasn't for you mangy kids.
And then they land safely, and oh god.
And this part, okay, so this is the end of the film, pretty much. And really, guys, we're breaking it down as best we can. So finally, that's the end of the film. The bad guys, we assume, get caught because we don't really ever see them get taken away. But
they got away scot-free. That's what happened to them.
I don't know, maybe. But, the army is now on board with them. Thank you for your service, blah, 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 blah. And then we cut to the final scene of the film. They're in the courthouse. Jake the cat is getting his citizenship of the United States. I'm not kidding. He's still, and then, of course, the judge, if anybody's ever watched Dukes of Hazzard, is Boss Hogg from Dukes of Hazzard. Is the judge, by the way, a little cameo there by him. And he's there, and of course, Jake has to give his solemnly swear, this, that, and the other, uphold the Constitution and all this, so help me God.
He's like, Jake, can you please stand? And he just gets up in his back 2 legs.
And they're all in court, and of course he swears, and then he becomes a citizen. And as he's reciting the pledge of what he has to do, he's levitating the judge above the courthouse seats, and then he becomes a citizen, and that's how the movie ends. That's literally how it ends.
That's how it ends. Oh my!
Well, yes. I mean, James, you're right. You're right. Maybe we're selling it too short. He levitates the judge as a show of his enthusiasm for his new country. Fair enough.
Look, if I'm able to get citizenship by just levitating the judge, I'd move to the States in a heartbeat, let me tell you. Oh my gosh.
Surreal. Surreal. Oh, good Lord, guys. I think that movie might make more sense with a glass or 2 of tequila, maybe.
Yeah.
Pardon turkeys. If presidents can pardon turkeys, then cats can get naturalized. Why is everyone dogging on this movie so much? Oh, good one. I like that, Simba. Good job. Oh, my gosh. And nobody is after the space cat with powers? I agree, Melissa. Right. I mean, I would think they would want to, I don't know. And Wendy says she's glad I think I'm glad I didn't rewatch it. Donna Anderson Folan says, I have not seen this movie in years, so I'm going to have to watch it again. Look, let me say this right now. Everybody, yes, I do recommend you watch it.
Yep.
You have to make up your own opinion on these movies. I'm telling you, you might find it hilarious. And parts of it I did find funny.
Yep.
I did. I really did. I'm kind of sad they didn't have more of Sandy Duncan in this movie. I actually like her. And I really wanted to like her character. We didn't really get a lot of her character. Nobody's character was really developed at all. But it's a 1978 Disney Channel movie. I didn't expect it to be. Bob says it sounds like they should show black and white clips of this film in the sci-fi diner.
You know what's funny is you go into IMDb, right, and you go click on The Cat from Outer Space, and all the pictures are in black and white when this film is actually in color. So it's
it's actually got a 6.1 rating. It's better than I thought. Hey,
generous.
Rachel.
It's generous, isn't it?
It did. It got a 6.1 rating.
I don't know.
All right. Well, it is time. We are at 6:45, and we got a few things to do. All right. So everybody in the chat, if you've seen this movie, we do a letter grade. A+, best of the best. You know, oh my gosh, we love these movies. Watch them all the time. And of course, an F speaks for itself. A couple things real fast in chat. All right. Well, you are right. This was for kids, I hope, and would have been very funny as a cartoon, but it was a film to entertain families in 1978, not intended for fame or Academy Awards.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Agreed, James, 100%. Agreed, 100%. And that's why I say wait for our letter grades. Wait for our letter grades. Brandy says we have 41 stray cats that come around our backyard. My boys will start testing which ones have special powers.
Look for that Tiffany collar, and you'll know what.
Look for the collar. Look for the collar. Truth be told, I think we all could use more of the simple family comedy today. Ridiculous, easy to follow, and some laughs from all. I enjoyed it. I totally understand that. Barb, good points. Good points. All right, so we're going to get to everybody in the chat first. Dan, I need a letter grade from you, pal.
Okay. So, this film took me 3 days to finish. That should say it all. It was a tough watch. I enjoyed it, but I am probably never going to watch it again. There is a lot of things that is awful about this film, but there were some bright spots. There was a bit of good comedy, but a lot of the comedy did fall flat as well. The story is ridiculous. The acting was fine. But again, it is for kids, but most films, should be for kids, especially under the Disney umbrella. So I can't really give that sort of argument as strong. I'm going to give this movie a D.
Okay. D.
And if you guys remember, I gave George of the Jungle a D+. Now, my reason is, first, I can watch George of the Jungle all in one sitting, and two, that film, George of the Jungle, is so bad that it's hilarious. That's why it puts a little bit up for me. But this film just took such a long time to get through, and I just couldn't. I can't give it a higher grade than that. So
okay,
I'm sorry.
All right. And we're going to get to the chat in just a minute. I'm going to have Dan run down the chat like he always does. For me, I'm giving it a D+. Okay. First off, if I had to watch George of the Jungle or Cat from Outer Space, for me, I'm watching Cat from Outer Space.
Yep.
I enjoyed this film a lot more than George of the Jungle.
Right.
For me.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
I give it a D+. I will probably not watch it again, which is too bad. I like some of the actors that are in this film. It's fun. It's whimsical. The story's off the wall. It's supposed to be off the wall. I mean, the title itself says
a 70s film.
Yeah, It's the Cat from Outer Space. I get it. So it's going to get a D+ from me. Yep. I didn't dislike it. It's not something I'm probably going to go back to. It's a one and done for sure.
Same as me. Yeah, I would agree that same conclusion.
Yeah. What about in the chat, Dan?
So,
what do we got?
Rachel loves Disney, gives it a B+. Donna Anderson Fulham gives it a B+ too. Noah gives it a B+. Jeff Abramson gives it a C+. Captain Akron gives it a B. Alex, the filmmaker, gives it a B. Melissa gives it a C. I want to see what Melissa thinks about this film. Kay gives it a C+. Let's see who else. I didn't watch it, but I give you guys an A+ for taking one for the team, says Wendy.
Thanks, Wendy.
Simba gives it a B-. Donna says a D. Yeah, I'm sorry. James Ryan gives it a C+.
Welcome in, Amber.
Yeah, welcome in, Amber. Great to see you. Michelle the Quilter, welcome in, and she says C+ or C-. Faith Hope and Disney gives it a B+. Amber Renee Smith gives it a B-. So you know what? It just seems like the chat is a lot higher, gives it a lot higher grade than us. But look,
That's
totally
great.
right. That's
That's
totally
great.
right. Like,
That's good.
everybody is entitled to different opinions, and I think we said the same like we did last week with Pocahontas. That was a very mixed graded film for everybody, and we just it was definitely mixed grade. So
Yep.
we value everybody's opinion, and it was great.
Yeah, I mean, there are some of these. Look, I've watched a lot of these old 70 films because it's my childhood, and it brings me back to the days when I was a kid. I've watched a lot of these, and some of these are really good. This one just wasn't great for me. I mean, we'll get to some of these other ones that they did back in the 70s that are off the wall too, and you're going to see a much higher grade from me. I can promise you that. Melissa said, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Soraya gives it, based on discussion, I give it a D. And then, go on.
Melissa says, I give it a C because of the time frame it came from. It's supposed to be mindless and just funny. Yeah. Amen. Amen. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe we're expecting more than we should. For sure.
It's definitely hard to judge older films.
It is.
It is difficult because obviously things are different. Films are made so much more different to back then than it was today. So, but put it this way, guys. I watched 3 films this weekend. This was my second favorite out of the 3.
There you go. That's not bad. Well, I'll tell you this, and that's a good point. They did a really good job back in the day of training these cats and dogs and for some of these films. I agree 100%. And that's true, Melissa. George of the Jungle is much more recent. No excuses for being that bad. I agree. I agree.
I still loved it.
Yeah. Oh, and Kay, you're right. This film was made to entertain, not to overthink it. Yeah. But part of it for me, I wasn't entertained. It's not that I was overthinking it. Some of the jokes I found were funny, and other ones I just didn't hit for me.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I try and watch, 2 to 3 films a week. And if it takes me 2 to 3 days to watch a film, that for me already rings bells for me. And I just don't, it's just me getting captivated into it. And I just felt like the first 30 minutes were very hard to get through. And yeah, but
it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, it got a higher grade than George. I did not like George of the Jungle at all.
I would recommend it. I would recommend it to everybody. I would.
Yeah. We have to remember that this film is from the Bedknobs and Broomsticks era. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yep. All right, Dan. So we are getting up to that time. It is time for the pool. Here we go, gang. We are going to pull for next week. And look, the one thing we say before Dan pulls that out of there, everybody watching, whatever he pulls out of here and previous weeks, recommend watch them for no other reason than the fact they're fun. Watch them. I think a lot of them you're probably going to enjoy. Maybe it'll bring back some old memories.
Look at this. The class. That's me being really immature. Right, here we go. For next week on my channel. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so you can continue to watch our Disney movie reviews. Here we go. Christine Hickman, good to see you. Here we go.
Hey, Christine, welcome in.
We're sticking with animal themes. But we're sticking with animals. Okay. And this film is going to be a biggie. We are talking from 1994, The Lion King.
Is that the original Lion King?
So like we did with Beauty and the Beast, we'll review both because they are very, very similar.
Okay.
So one of us can watch the original or one of us can watch the live action or we can watch both or however we'd like. It doesn't really matter. But next week on my channel, Walt and I, and possibly a special guest, because I think there are definitely people who want to watch The Lion King. We are going to be reviewing The Lion King, the animated version, and the live action version next week. I am super pumped. Super, super pumped for next week.
That's a great one. See, look, you've been wanting a really good one. Well, there you go. Yep, that's awesome, man. That is fantastic.
That's a big one out the box right there.
That's a big one for sure. Donna Jaworski, welcome in, Donna. Good to see you, dear. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. Donna's such a great person. Her dinners with Donna's been doing fantastic. Donna, congratulations on that. And Simply Eeyore, welcome in. Good to see you as well. Thank you for being here. 1994 is animated, live action, can't compare. Well, we're going to talk about that next week for sure.
Definitely talk about. But it's gonna be a very awesome stream next week.
Oh, we're gonna have fun with that for sure. I agree 100%. Before we head out, let's do some quick mousekeeping again. Next Sunday on Dan's channel, Lion King. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to probably have a special guest for that one, and you'll have to wait till next week to see who that is. But I think we have some people in mind. For those that don't know, Dan goes live on Saturdays with Disney Fiasco, usually Thursdays for Nuts About Disney, and of course he's right here on Sundays with us for Disney Movie Review. Also, I wanted to let everybody know our other partner channel is Steve's World. Be sure to check him out Mondays, just another Monday night. And usually on Saturdays with me for Sports Night, it's been difficult for me. It's been very spotty lately, and I apologize for that. Brandy Baez says, I was hooked by Pumbaa for so long, changed from a king-size bed to a twin just so I could have Lion King sheets. Oh, Jesus.
I love it.
That's awesome. Saria says she thinks she quotes the Lion King on the daily. Dean over at The Live Place. Check him out, theliveplace.com. Family-friendly streams throughout the week. Tonight, Pete McDevitt. Check him out on Off the Wall. He's going to have Meg from Mickey's Magic on there tonight. That's going to be a lot of fun for sure. Car Key, welcome in. Good to see you, Car Key. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here. We're just getting ready to head out. Tomorrow, it's Labor Day here in the States. And Melissa and I will be live from the Magic Kingdom bright and early, 9:30 a.m. for the stream. I know there's probably some other people that are going live as well. Hope you guys can come over and join us. We're going to have a great time. I want to say thank you to everybody for joining us today for our live stream. We had a blast. That was amazing. Dan, before we head out, what's coming up on your channel? What do you got coming up?
Yep, so Disney Fiasco episode 106 will be on Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then obviously Disney Movie Review next week, 6 p.m. So same time today, but just on my channel. We're going to try and get, got some vlogs coming out this week. I got one coming out. I think it's either going to be a pin video or my Disney library.
Ooh.
My Disney books that I have built over the last couple of years. So just choosing between those. So that should be coming out very, very soon. A Mulan review. Not for Disney Movie Review, just a
review.
Just a review of Mulan. You know how I spoke about earlier that there were 3 movies I watched this weekend, and The Cat from Outer Space was my second favorite. Yeah, and I also saw Tenet. Go see it. So yeah, Mulan review hopefully coming out very soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, please feel free to subscribe. We are on our way. We're on that road to 2,000 subs.
Yes, I was just getting ready to say that. We have a lot of people in here right now, several that may not be subscribed to Dan. I highly, highly recommend and ask you as a personal favor to me, go subscribe to this guy. He has great, great content as well. His streams are fantastic. Always really fun streams. He comes out with some really original stuff. His videos are fantastic. Go subscribe to Dan. Someone put his link in the chat, please. One of my mods, I'd appreciate it. You do great stuff, bud. We're almost there.
Nearly there, and thank you again for all your support, and thank you to everybody in the chat. You guys are absolutely amazing, and it's been a long road, and I'm looking forward to celebrating, and this has been so much fun. Like I say every week, I love doing these streams. I love doing these Disney movie reviews, you know, because it allows us to watch films, you know, that we may have not seen before, films we haven't seen in such a long time. And it allows you guys in the chat to come and join us during the week. Watch the film and then come join us 6 p.m. on a Sunday and talk about it. It's like our Disney book club, except we watch films and we absolutely love it. And
thank you, Donna.
We really enjoy it. Thank you so much, Donna and Noah.
And James, thank you.
Thank you, Kay. That's so kind. Thank you.
It's true. No, it's true. That's why we try to share it out as, look, here's the thing. When it comes to subscriptions, a lot of people don't know about channels. You might know Resort TV One, you might know Corey, you might know Rob Fuzz. If you know Rob, you're going to know Dan. But you might know other channels, but you may not know about Dan. You may not know about Mouse Talk. You may not know about Donna Jaworski. You may not know about, Rob Fuzz, or depending upon where you are. That's why, we want to make sure people are aware of these channels because they're a lot of fun. We're not all 700,000, 800,000 like Tim Tracker, who, by the way, is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I love Tim. But, the smaller channels have lots of positive energy, and they have a lot to offer as well. So, they're lots of fun. They just haven't been discovered yet. That's how I put it.
Well, this has been super fun.
Oh, it has. This has been great.
Looking forward to next week, and I'm sorry I took a really great choice and you got this.
I'm glad. Look, these types are the ones I'm really hoping I get more of. I want these types.
Well, I'll make sure I check. No, I'm kidding.
Addiction Mouse, welcome in.
Hey, Addiction Mouse, good to see you.
Well, everybody, as we always like to say, you always have a choice of where you spend your time. You decided to spend it here with us tonight, Dan and I, and we are very, very grateful for that. So, Dan, how do you end your streams each time?
Always eat something you love. No, which you should. I always say live your life with a smile each and every day. And
amen to that. I agree 100%. And for us, again, just thank you all for being here. We love all of you. Thank you for making all of this, just fantastic. We've been having a great time. And other than that, guys, take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you all tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. for a fantastic stream. Woo. And until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll talk to you all really, really soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.